Welcome viewers to the Spotlight Show. Today's show is on Tummy Time. I'm Sharon Snodgrass, a member of the Farmington Hills Commission for Children, Youth, and Family. The two cities bring you this program of current events for children, youth, and family. Our topic, Tummy Time, I was a bit confused thinking of my weight, my waistline, but indeed it is not for adults. Tummy Time is only for babies, and we're very lucky to have with us Lynn Legg, who is a specialist in early childhood care. She is a physical therapist and for many years has lived and been in the community talking about tummy time. So Lynn, I'm going to go to you since I'm not familiar with Tummy Time and ask you about the program.
Okay, thanks for having me here today.
You're
I really
welcome.
Appreciate it. Tummy time is an important topic in this day and age. Since they instituted the Back to Sleep program, now it's called Safe Sleep program, for babies to reduce the incidence of SIDS, kids now have to work on strengthening by being in a tummy time position, which is why we now have tummy time. So tummy time is for infants from the time they're born until the time they're really moving around and crawling, hopefully, on hands and knees, so they can gain the strength in their neck and their shoulders and arms that they lack from sleeping on their backs.
And how old does the program last till they can crawl?
From the very beginning when they're home from the hospital and they're newborns. So until the point that they're crawling and doing some good weight bearing on their arms to get strength in their shoulders, that's when you stop.
And how does a mom or a relative tummy time with a child?
Okay, so it's interesting. There's an idea that tummy time is a position rather than a position for play and a position for life rather than a thing to do. And so tummy time is something you can do by placing your baby in a tummy bearing position, like on their shoulder when they're a newborn.
Okay.
And you're holding them there and they're working on lifting their head up. So that's one way you can do it with a very, very young baby. I can also recline myself backwards a little bit to make them work a little bit harder because they're working on an angle. The other thing you can do with tummy time is put them in a position tummy down when you carry them. So you're carrying them in a football type hold or some other positions as well.
So do you do this every day or many times a day?
What we recommend is that we do it throughout the course of the day. And your hope is that you're going to build up in time cumulatively from the course of the day up to 60 minutes a day by the time they're 3 months old. Babies in the past used to sleep 16 hours a day on their tummy, so we have to make up that time by exercise, which is what tummy time positioning does for us.
Oh, great. And what kind of equipment does someone have to buy or use for tummy time?
There are a lot of things that are on the market that many people use, but not all kids like that equipment. What happens is kids get on the floor, they have nothing to look at, they get a little bit uncomfortable because they're working so hard. So we actually have babies that cry a lot with tummy time, and parents don't want their babies to be distressed.
No, I guess
and they don't want them to cry.
We don't want any stress.
So then they pick them up. So what I like to do is say, let's embed it through the course of your day. You don't need equipment for most of it. You can use a blanket to roll under their tummy. If you happen to have a boppy pillow or some kind of pillow for support that you use can that for positioning. But you can also use, well, I'll take you with I have a pillow right here. I'll show you how this baby can rest
so
on her tummy.
we have a sample here.
We have a sample. She's on her tummy. Her elbows would be underneath her chest, and she can actually work on lifting her head up with some support. I can do that with a pillow, with a rolled blanket. I could also do it by putting that baby on my lap and raising one knee. Or if I happen to be sitting on a couch that has an arm, I can rest that baby against the arm of the couch in the same kind of position, and they could watch siblings or pet animals or parents that are nearby. So they can have something to watch and lift their head up and watch.
So are we stretching their neck muscles?
We're actually strengthening the muscles that lift your head, as well as the ones that hold you with your shoulders. And then the other piece that's important with tummy time is the movement between positions. So if I put a baby on their tummy in a tummy down position, when I pick them back up, they're working those same muscles coming back up to my shoulder.
And if your baby cries and doesn't like tummy time?
Then it means you have to do it in very small increments and do it in positions that are comfortable. I like to say that kids need to have just enough challenge, not so much challenge that they cry, but we want them to sustain the position longer and be more enjoyable for them. So if I can embed it through their day, I can do it when they do a diaper change. Tip them on their tummy for a moment, get eye to eye with that baby, and sing a song. And so by that time, they're actually getting another minute of time, and those minutes accumulate through the course of the day.
Great. And if if I'm a parent and I'd like to learn more about Tummy Time, are there some classes or opportunities to interact a little bit more about Tummy Time?
Absolutely. I happen to work for Early on Oakland County as a consultant, and one of the classes that I have is called Tummy Time Boot Camp. And it's offered several times during the course of the year. I know we often do it in the Farmington Library as one of their children's classes they have. And another person and I are there teaching families of babies how to do tummy time with their kids. And we look at where the kids are at the moment and give them strategies that they can move on to make it even easier for them to do. So that happens throughout the county as well, at different locations.
So there's quite a few programs that's offered on Tummy Time, particularly one at the Farmington Library.
Absolutely, yes.
And do you have a few more little statistics about how much the babies need tummy time?
Absolutely. Babies need to spend hopefully up to 60 minutes in the course of a day doing that tummy down position by the time they're 3 months old. We know that parents have a lot of information about what to do about sleeping on their backs, but getting more information about how to sleep on their tummy is really important because parents don't have that information available to them. I have some information that's available resource-wise. Pathways.org is a great resource site that parents can look up online that has great information
about. So that's
about
pathways.org.
.org, yes. They have great information about tummy time and other parts of development for children in all areas. Another resource is Mama OT.
Mama OT.
Yes, that's a great source also. They can look up.
.org or?
Mama OT, just if you put that in the search bar,
it does.
It will come up. And that is an occupational therapist that is a pediatric specialist and has some great resource information and suggestions and strategies for families that are struggling with tummy time.
We have another baby here, and why is this baby different?
Let me grab the baby and I'll show you.
Right.
This baby happens to have arms that move. So what I want to show you real quickly with this one is, if I put the baby at my shoulder, what I want to look at is getting those arms underneath their shoulders, almost like they're laying on their elbows. So they're working on the shoulder strength that they're also necessary to lift their head up a little bit better. I can do the same thing on that pad or on the floor or on a elevated position, that their elbows are underneath them to help pick their head up.
Okay, great.
So that's what's
it's a little bit different than the other one.
A little different from the other baby, yes.
And I read something that some people can put them on like a little water mat.
Yes, you can do all kinds of different ways. Another way that I love to do tummy time, I tell parents all the time, is put them on your bed and you can just bend down low and be face to face with your baby, because then they have the best toy in the world, the parent right there looking at them.
Playing with them.
And there's a reason to look up. And it's more enjoyable. It's a softer surface, not to sleep, just for play. But they can be there looking at their parent, and they might stay longer. They might want to stay for a little bit longer time because it's enjoyable.
Well, if you had a pet that was well disciplined, you could have the pet look at the baby.
Absolutely.
Then you get your 60 minutes in right away.
Absolutely. That's absolutely true.
That
absolutely.
would be great. So, well, the Tummy Time program just sounds wonderful. I'm glad it's not about Weight Watching and waist things.
Absolutely.
I'm not having any children. I find that it was very interesting to learn about it, and I hope our viewers will have some more information and find the valuable program good for their children. Once again, you can go to one of the websites we mentioned earlier. You can go to the city website and look at the program again. It also is shown on AT&T and on Spectrum and for future viewing. And next program we're going to have for the commission that's offering is on vaping. That'll be in November. So that should be very interesting and quite a difference from Tummy Time.
Yes.
So thank you, Lynn, so much for joining us and sharing your specialty. And I'm sure the viewers will find it very useful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And we'll see our viewers for the next show.